Hi, this is Dana. Welcome to my live stream. My helper tonight is not helping me, so it may just be me. I hope you'll stay for the whole live stream. Tonight is Tell It All Tuesday, so we're going to talk about just anything. I had one eyeshadow palette that I wanted to share with you that was a Disney palette, and it's called Disney Alice Through the Looking Glass. And isn't that beautiful? And there's the eyeshadow palette. It has an optical illusion that it looks like the colors are put in there differently, but they are level and the same. And in real small letters, it tells the name of each color. Lots of really bright colors and lots of shiny colors, which I like bright and shiny because I'm just that kind of girl. And you'll see behind me is the Disney Villains PR box. You were able, even if you didn't get PR, to order the PR box, but my helper took all the things out of the boxes they came in, and the only thing I really have left is the outside of the PR box, which is really beautiful, and I'm glad that I got it. Today it's been fairly warm here. There have been some storms, and I have a cousin that has a dog that is just scared to death of storms. And I used to have a little pug, and he was deathly afraid of storms too. I got him when Mary was little, and she dropped him on his back on the kitchen floor, and he never forgave her for that. As a matter of fact, he did some really naughty things to her. And if she were awake enough, I would get her permission to tell it or not. But anyway, that'll be her story about what Bo the pug did to her that's so naughty. And every evening, well, a couple times a day, I talk to my dad, because my brother lives at home with him, but he works during the day, and I kind of worry about him, so I call him a couple times a day, and I call him at night before I get ready to come upstairs here, especially if I know I'm going to be doing a live stream. And we were talking about when I was in the Army, and I told him how we went out on bivouac. I don't know whether it was for 5 or 7 days, but we had to carry our full packs and our M16s and our full combat gear, as it were, which included gas masks. And I remember on the march out there, we had to cross a creek and keep all of our gear dry, and of course our M16 dry. And right as we crawled up or climbed up the other side of the creek, and our skin was wet from being in the water, they did the planned simulated gas attack. And we had to get our mask out and get them sealed so we didn't breathe it into our lungs. But everywhere on our skin where we were wet, it stung like fire. So that just wasn't a whole lot of fun. And I remember we slept in 2-person pop tents, and that was kind of camping in the rough, as it were. And one of my drill sergeants asked me, he said, "Did you check your sleeping bag for snakes?" And I'm like, "What?" We were in South Carolina, and it was during the winter time, or the beginning of winter, around November, December, January, something like that. Anyway, I wouldn't have thought it would have been snakes, but my dad and I was talking about it, and he said, yeah, when the weather's cold like that, they like to look for someplace warm. So the drill sergeant had told me, right, to check my sleeping bag before I got into it. Oh, me. Anybody that knows anything about me knows that I am scared to death of snakes. And I was then, and I am now. It hasn't got any better. So we talked about that, and we have a farm in the next county, and we have a stocked pond and a place where they can take their camper to, and they're going to go camping, speaking of camping, on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and come back Saturday. They have a little pop-up tent, which is all they really need. My dad says it has a water tank in it, but he's never been able to get it filled up, and I was worried about, what kind of clean water would they have, but he said they were going to take bottled water with them. So he said he would like to have something in the camper to wash his hands in, but maybe not. So he invited any of us that wanted to go with him, and I told him, I said, my husband Ed would probably like to go. But anyway, so that's the camping story. And I've been reading in my book that newly recommended about foraging for wild plants, and it is so well written. And as I said before, it's given me the confidence that I can do this without poisoning myself or my family. And I would like to know what plants that are wild are edible for us to eat, because in a crisis situation, that would be mighty useful information to have. I pray that we don't come across none of those crisis situations, but it's always possible. Anything's possible. Well, I don't have much else to say, and no one's here to chat with me, so I guess I'll sign off early tonight and tell you to remember to please be kind to one another, and remember we love you, and join us on Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another live stream, and the topic will be food.